So what makes your special team special this year over the past?
Yeah, I think having the continuity of the three specialists together, obviously that's a big thing. Keeping the operation consistent, getting more in tune with one another, that always helps out. And then honestly, I think as a whole group, the depth that we have, the young guys that are coming in, as well as the guys that were here last year, and adding competition for different positions always helps out. I think competition breeds success, so it's a good thing for us. Yeah, I mean, I think anytime, again, just bringing competition, it's going to help bring just clarity to the situation a little bit of like, hey, what do I need to do? What can I improve? How do I need to win this job? And when you see another guy competing, you're naturally going to rise. The stars rise to the top. So that's what I look at.
Is there a specific thing you do need to improve that is an absolute priority from last season?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. Obviously, you can't give up block kick. I think that's first and foremost. And our protection, pump protection, field goal protection, having no block kicks will be a ground zero to start.
Last year you talked about the direction.
Yeah.
It's been a good area of emphasis for him this offseason.
Yeah, we've continued with that, with some other types of kicks and different things that we can do and utilize some of his leg strength in different areas of the field and try to be more not showing and giving away our punt direction, but be able to utilize some things that'll allow us to kind of disguise and flip the field in a different way.
Similar for Joshua to the second.
I think, again, the continuity of it, I think he's done a great job. He's come out, it looks great, starting away, hit the ground running right where he left off. Obviously, the way he finished last year was tremendous of him to respond from the adversity early in the year, and that's what we expected from him when we got him. And I just think with the continuity of the group, it always helps, like just being able to go into the film room and talk more openly about, hey, this is what I really want. This is, last year's kind of feeling it out and adjusting and making the adjustments and making kicks, and now it's like, hey, how do we become better? What all three of us, how do we, the three of them plus us as coaches, like how do we become better and improve? And I think that's been a great position to start with, having some clarity and open connectivity of the group being together for a year.
Is consistency the one thing, though, that you're looking for more than anything with Josh? Or is there anything else specific that he needs to work on?
Yeah, I mean, I think consistency obviously is always, that's for every kicker, right? If you're top consistency, you're going to be an all-pro. Like, there's the reason that year to year these guys are up and down, and every situation is different. Every kick is built different, environment, situation, wind, weather. All those things play into fact too, right? You can have a year where you have 30 field goals and go 28 for 30, but they're all inside of 30 yards. Like, it all looks differently, and the way he finished, and the best thing, again, lengthening him out as the season went and hitting a lot of 50-yard field goals and going 6 for 7 down the stretch from 50 plus was a huge step in the right direction, and a lot of confidence built for him and equity for the team to see what he can do. So I think those combinations are powerful. And then you look at the kickoff and the touchback at the 35-yard line as opposed to the 30, and really making that as a weapon. How do we do that as a kickoff unit? A kickoff return is going to be more plays of high-quality football that are going to need to be had in that phase than we've had in the past. And I think being able to get the ball in different areas where you want with the hang time and different types of kicks and everything else is going to be paramount, because we can't go as a kickoff coverage unit until the ball is either caught or hits the ground in that landing zone. And so really when we got to, how do you take advantage of it? You get the ball on the ground and let the clock start, let the coverage team start to go down the field and gain a step or two on the return group. And so being able to do that at a high level will be paramount for our success for sure.
You just hit on it a little. The first year of the new kickoff rule, did it play out mostly how you expected, or were there any surprises you saw along the way?
There was probably less of the on-the-ground ball than I expected. And when people did kick it on the ground, they were successful. When we did it on the ground, we were successful. And but there's a risk reward inherently with that, about being able to control that ball and being short of kicking out of bounds. And so you got to weigh those based upon game situations and different things, and where our offense and defense, how we're playing, what's the score of the game, weather. Obviously we play indoors, but those outdoor games, playing in Philly in the snow, you're not really going to try to take some of those risks in those situations where I think there wasn't probably quite as many explosives, but if you look as the season as it progressed, I feel like just going back and going through it over and over again is early in the year teams were trying to figure out both sides of it, and it was kind of more vanilla schemes. Then you started getting some of the power and pull schemes and some inside zones and some more offensive style plays, and kick return groups started picking up and having a little more success, and I think we hit our stride as the back half of the year progressed, and having Jay Witt back there and Xavier and Blake Corm and the number of guys we use back there for different skill sets and different return styles, we can use that stuff to our advantage. And I think more teams found that out as the season progressed.
It's a fairly small fraternity among you coaches. Are you expecting any significant changes to the rule this offseason, or planning for more of the same?
Yeah, I mean, I think the touchback line to the 35 would be about it. And I heard something, again, I don't know what's passed or what's just speculation. I read, some different articles about, having a third off the ball player on the kickoff return unit in between the hashes, all those type of things, which I think is passed. We're operating under that assumption that it's going to. And so coming up with some different unique schemes. Again, that second level of the up back, off the ball player gives you some more versatility for what you would call poolers or trappers or different things like that to put more in the offensive scheme.
How limited are you though as far as adjusting to this and continuing to grow? I mean, is there just sort of a limit there that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great question. Honestly, I don't think there's a limit. I think you can kind of move and maneuver different ways. So you can go man blocking, double team schemes. You can overload a front as long as you have 3 on the backside. And then it just depends about how you react and where they place the kick. And if they're getting the ball on the ground, you got to have returners that can get to a play like a shortstop, scoop it up and keep it on the move, prevent the touchback minors to the 20-yard line. That's a key and critical element. And then, being able to, if you overload a side and try to run a double scheme to the sideline and think you're getting a boundary kick and you get it, or do you want to run it to the field? There was some success where they ran it all the way back across the field and got it started, and that created big plays. But a lot of times they end up going to what you call a straight call or whatever, and you basically take it up the near boundary and just kind of convert over with your blocks. And so there's a lot of ways you can go with it, and so it's pretty cool to see and talk to the offensive coaches about different things, and Sean, and what possibilities we have. And obviously we didn't even see like the throwbacks and the reverses and all that. I mean, we saw a reverse, a fake reverse, but like some of the stuff that was in the XFL with the end around and the throwbacks and the hideout guy, and we didn't see that stuff really come to fruition this year. Not that people didn't have it in, maybe they just didn't feel in that situation to call it, but I think there'll continue to be an evolution of that as well.
When you were talking about Karty's success at beyond 50 down the stretch, how much was that him slowing down that approach versus the continuity of snap hold?
I think it's both. I think it's just a comfortability with the group first and foremost, about trusting that they're going to execute their 2/3, that you can execute your 1/3, and then really when you look at the success that he had, continue to build confidence, and then for us to put him out there in those situations, and instead of going for a 4th and 5, maybe at a on a 58-yard field goal, we say, hey, we'll kick it instead of going for it. And different, obviously again the game situations come into play. Tighter ball games, you're more inclined to try to get points and different things like that, and how your defense is playing, and trust that they're going to hold them if we do miss. And but again, just going out there, doing it, executing it day in, day out in practice leads to confidence in himself and confidence from us as an organization to put him out there in those situations.
I wanted to ask you about the confidence thing. We had him last year as the best kicker coming out of college. We decided to get him here.
Yeah.
From a confidence standpoint, do you notice something different than, he was a rookie, so at the beginning, nobody has perfect confidence.
Yeah, I think that when you just talk about the confidence, he's more confident to speak up or to see what he's feeling or to say it out loud and or ask questions that maybe last year he kind of was like, okay, yeah, I'll adapt. Like, hey, if the laces were a quarter off, or if there was something, I'll adapt. But how do we now? It's how do we make it better? And that was always the goal. But he's more open to speak, and I think he just, from that group being together and them to go hang out and have dinners and different stuff like that and being around each other more, you just grow closer, and you can't help but want the best for the person beside you. And I think when you first come in, you're kind of like that. Ethan and Alex came in together, and so they already had that little bit of a bond. And then you're kind of like the new one coming in, and how to develop that quickly. And I think he did a great job of doing that, and it's just carrying forward to right now.
Last question. So much do you use analytics at all to try and help prepare for those things?
Yeah, I mean, we have a few different things going with analytics, you know, different hang times, different ball locations, different style of returns. We've, run a lot of different things there. I'll say it's a good starting point is the way I look at it, and then you got to look at the tape and see what it was, because sometimes something can happen. For example, the Dallas Cowboys, Turpin, you know, drops the ball, rolls around, he's going to get tackled at 12, he makes 3 guys miss, spins out, and goes for a touchdown. Like, that's not a scheme I want to put in, just so we're all clear. Like, but you would have a player that could come up and make something like that happen. Like, hey, what was real and what wasn't? And so that's kind of where it's a good starting point. Great question that we use, and then we watch the tape and evaluate from there. Awesome. Thank you guys.